Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Amanda, and on this channel I usually talk about tarot, oracle, and any other spiritual related topics that I feel like talking about, basically. So we are going through some pretty significant changes, my family and I, and as a nice way, I guess, to wrap up the summer, I just wanted to come on here and do a quick video just basically showing some of the decks that I've been working with, some of the books that I've been reading, and just kind of have a nice little chat, I guess. I've actually been sitting on this book for quite a while. I'm really happy that I finally completed it. If you're new here, I work quite closely with the goddess Hecate, and I work with her as Anima Mundi. And Cindy Brannan is the author. I love her stuff. I have her Entering Hecate's Cave book, and then I have her Entering Hecate's Garden book, and then I have this one as well. And she is, I think, currently writing Entering Hecate's Temple, which I'm also planning on purchasing that as soon as it's available. I really resonate with all her information about Hecate, and although she's a practicing witch, she doesn't just talk about working with Hecate in that way, like I find a lot of resources do, as I consider myself to be more, I guess, of a pagan, so I don't really follow a witchcraft path. So for me, I do like to have books that can talk about Hecate not just as a witchcraft goddess, although that's a huge part of who she is. It's not really how I experience her energy. So I really loved this book. This book, it's shadow work based. And Cindy Brannan, I believe she's a psychologist. So I learned a lot reading this book. And basically every chapter you work with a different aspect of Hecate. So there's the crossroads, Enodia. There is agape, the fear-based aspect. Hold on, there is a whole Anima Mundi. There's a bunch of different aspects that you can work with, and she gives you homework at the end of the chapter as well. So I really liked. I just took my time with it. I really enjoyed it, and it took me quite a few months to finally complete the book, and I'm happy that I did. And I am, like I said, I really do enjoy this author, and I am looking forward to purchasing more books and learning more about Hecate. Just on top of what how I experienced. So if you're new to my channel, I became a mother about 18 months ago, and I have been going through a whole transformation in regards to that, and I have a couple of videos on my channel about that. I can link them below if you're interested. Oh, there's a little fly on it. That I just was really intuitively drawn to the book. This is another book that, you know, you want to take your time with it. There's homework at the end of each chapter. So I've been slowly just chipping away at the book and enjoying it, taking my time with it. And I can tell you more about the book once it's complete, but this is one of the things that I have been reading and enjoying. And the last book that isn't a guidebook is the Of Blood and Bones. So I believe I mentioned this book, that I was interested in this book, in my autumn video that I just did. And I went ahead and I picked it up, and I'm so happy that I did. As you can see, I've read quite a lot already, and I just did this, I just started reading it a couple of days ago. So I've been really enjoying ending my nights reading a couple of chapters of this. And of course, like I said, I don't really follow a witchcraft path, so I just kind of I'm not interested in working with animal bones, so I just kind of skip past those parts. But I do find the parts about the working with the dark moon and the shadow work parts of this book to be very interesting. I do think that this book is worth purchasing, even if you aren't a witch or if you don't consider yourself a witch. If you're just a practicing pagan like I am, I do think that there is a lot of valuable information in this book, even if you don't follow that type of a path. So there's gods in here. She talks about, there's a whole, she talks about liminal spaces. She talks about different deities that you can work with. She talks about the dark moon phase. There's recipes in here, different talismans. There's even a whole section on divination that you can learn from if you're interested in that kind of stuff. And just keep in mind that I've only read up to chapter 6, but I mean, already there's so much information here that I'm actually quite happy that I bought the book. I was a little nervous because I don't have any interest in working with bones, but I've been contemplating purchasing an oracle deck. I think it's called Between the Worlds Oracle deck, and using that, I guess, in its place, but I'm still kind of debating if whether or not I should, or if I should do that, or if that's really right for me at this point in my practice. Okay, so I think we can start talking about the decks. So I started reading with the Green Witch Tarot. So if you're new to my channel, I like to do daily draws. I do an oracle pull, which will be like my main theme of the day, and then I do a Maiden, Mother, and Crone position, and I pull one card for each. Maiden is like what new energy is coming in basically for that day. Mother is something that I can continue to grow, and then Crone is something to release for tomorrow basically. So one of the decks that I've been working with lately is the Green Witch Tarot, and I'm just taking my time with this deck, and I believe it runs on a Celtic system, which I do have Celtic on my mother's side. My mother is Scottish, so I do feel like I could connect with my ancestors on my mother's side using this deck. And this author here, Anne Mora, she wrote an excellent guidebook. If you are interested in botanicals, there's a section for each card where she talks about what botanicals are in the card and what they represent basically. There is a meaning, reversed, and prompt words. And then she talks about what's in the card. So I think that this is an excellent guidebook. I'm very happy that I have it. And there's even a section for the majors for you to write your own notes. So I don't do that. I usually just keep everything in I just have like a notebook basically here. I just keep all my notes in my notebook. It's just easier for me. But that's the Green Witch Tarot. Next up I have the Antique Anatomy Tarot here. So this deck I think has a really interesting personality. It's kind of cynical, at least that's how I experience its energy. The artist, I think her name is Claire Goodchild, the person that created this deck. She has very traditional guidebook meanings for her cards that sometimes I don't feel that the card it has a typical Rider-Waite-Smith meaning to it. So I do think that this is a deck that you want to connect more with your intuition, or read more intuitively, I should say. Because, like I said, there's, let me see if I can find it. There's a particular card, I think the Seven of Swords, that It reads to me more like the Eight of Swords. This is it. Yeah, this is the card. So as you can see, it reads more like the Eight of Swords to me, at least. So I think that's something that you might want to take into consideration. You probably don't want to get this deck if you're a new reader. But I do think that it's a wonderful deck. Cardstock's really good. I think I heard that the older version of this deck had terrible cardstock, but they went ahead and they updated that. So I do want to report that the cardstock is not bad in my opinion. So the next deck that I've really been enjoying working with the past couple of weeks has been the Tarot Vampires. Again, I'm just doing the Triple Goddess spread that I just mentioned. I think I've mentioned it before in one of my videos. But I really have been enjoying this deck. It really feels, it just goes really well with the fall season. And apart from recently, we've been experiencing pretty chilly fall weather here. Not now. Now we're going through a pretty terrible heat wave. So, also the guidebook is excellent. I really have been enjoying the guidebook again. There is a lot of information here. There is a shadow, like a reversed meaning. He talks about the artwork and the symbolism behind it. There is keywords. He tells you the astrological association of each card as well. And there's just so much information. He even gives you the gods that each planet is associated with in the majors. So lots of information. Unfortunately, from what I could see, you can't get this deck anymore, at least not on Amazon. At least the last time I checked. So, which was quite recently. So hopefully it does come back if you're interested in purchasing a copy of this deck. I do think that it's worth it even if you're not drawn to the artwork. The guidebook is so good. The last deck, I just got this deck. I've been working with it every day since I purchased it. Is the, I think it's called Ghosts and Spirits Tarot by Lisa Hunt. This deck, it really can mess with your mind, basically. This deck really likes to bring up psychological issues that someone might be experiencing. It really pinpoints issues that you could be dealing with, especially if you experienced a lot of trauma in your life. And it definitely packs a really strong punch. I've been really enjoying working with this deck every single day. I like to read up on the myths because every card has a depiction of a spirit. Some are like poetry based. This is like from an Edgar Allan Poe poem. Some are mythological stories, and some are actual spirits. So like this is the Headless Horseman, I'm pretty sure. I haven't pulled that card yet, but I have been really enjoying working with this deck. The guidebook is quite small, but it does give you some key information, and then you can look up the myth or story that's associated with the card if you want to do further research, basically. I like to look at the guidebook, and I like to reference in my journal any parts of the guidebook, or any sentences, I should say, from the guidebook that really resonate with me, or if I think it's referring to a specific situation in my life, and what I think could pop up in somebody else's story if I was reading for them. So I will make a note of that as well. For example, I think that there's a zombie card. Let me see if I can find it. But there is a zombie card where I thought it could be talking about a situation where maybe you're acting without thinking. So that's one of the things that I really like to do with this deck, especially because ghosts can represent unfinished business. Of course, I'm never going to recommend that you look to the tarot for psychological issues, for severe psychological issues, but it can definitely help pinpoint certain patterns that you have, maybe from childhood trauma, and it can at least bring that to the surface where you can kind of decide where you want to go. And that's how I really like to use this deck. Another one that I finally started working with is the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle. Unrelated, but I just recently got these bags. I think they're so cute. I have a few extra that I'm sitting on, so I think I'm going to put them up for sale on my Etsy store. But I just think that they're so adorable. I will, I think, eventually get around to putting them up on my Etsy store. If you're interested, this one's like, I have two satin ones basically. This one's a bit larger because I thought it would be really great for an oracle deck. I'm just using it with my tarot deck though, the Ghosts and Spirits tarot deck. As you can see, it fits pretty well in this one, in this bag. And this one is like a standard tarot size. I just keep my soul cats in it. So really loving that, and the inside's really nice too. It's just a nice satin material. And then this one is a burlap sack type of bag. It's snug. Okay, so the Samhain Oracle. So as I've said, I like to use one oracle deck usually for my Triple Goddess daily spread, and this has been my oracle deck that I've been working with the past little bit, and I've been really enjoying using her. I haven't gotten too many cards yet. I've gotten Divination and Dark Moon, so I find that sometimes when I pull cards, it's the oracle card can be sort of like a minor situation in my day, or sometimes it's the whole picture. So really just working intuitively with the energy and the deck is really helpful in just trying to figure out what exactly the situation is, if it's going to be part of the major energy, or if it's just like a singled out situation. I think this is a good place to end the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.